to anyone that even looked close to you. Like, I've never, ever talked to anyone like you.
Oh my God.
What's up, guys? Another edition of the Nuke Stream today. I'm going to talk about a topic today that's very important, and it could possibly you can understand and learn a lot about yourself and where you're at. We tend, as men, we all tend to overestimate how good we are at things, or why we don't want to be good with things. And one of the things we overestimate largely is our ability to get women and make them compliant and submit to us, right? So yeah, we'll talk about that. So um a follower of mine uh posted the list of like the different stages of the red pill. I'm not sure if he was the one that came out with it. I'm gonna assume so. Um, but it just seems really important to go through this list, right? Now then I'll reveal it at the end of the show of the actual list. But we'll go through it. There's 12 steps, right? Like sort of like a 12-step program, but it kind of shows you where you're at understanding this stuff. And how, like, if you're like way down the list, you're going to be it's like you're talking a different language to a person who just discovered the red pill or is in a different part of their journey, so to speak, of understanding the praxology and what it's actually for and how they can use it to improve their lives, right? So we're going to go through this list. We're going to talk about each step. And um it's very important. And obviously we're all works in progress. And it takes a lot of energy and effort to um deprogram yourself from the programming that you got since you were a baby. So having discovered the red pill is a very strange, albeit life-changing uh s- thing for a lot of guys. That they become addicted to reading red pill content. They spit it back out. They can't take the red pill. They spit it back out. um some of them silently take the red pill, and then they turn their whole life around, right? They decide, hey, I never wanted to get married. It was just what I was supposed to do. Or it's the opposite, like, hey, um, now I know that I want to get married, but what do I do to keep my marriage safe or get, not get divorced or keep the kids or whatever, right? So every guy is different, but there is these 12 steps that kind of like show you where a lot of people are coming from all along their journey and how they think they're at the end, right? And that's the thing. A lot of the times you always think you're at the end, and then there's always some kind of mental model or something that you struggle with that it takes time to accept, right? And time usually is the one that decides when, uh, uh you know, uh, time is what decides, hey, when it's time for the lesson to be over to begin, right? And along the timeline, you will finally understand these things, but it's better to understand them sooner than later so you can move on with your life and get to the last step, which is the most important. It's the one that guys really need to get to. And I've gotten to it too, so it's a pretty cool place. 1 second, guys. All right. So yeah, um, that's where we're at, right? Without further ado, let's hop in. Step one. So step one for any guy that discovers the red pill is that he realizes, you suck in life and you suck with women, right? I mean, this isn't so hard to get to. It's literally the first step. A lot of people think the detractors of the red pill or so they think, right? Um, think that it's us, the guys that get on a screen or write a book, are the ones we're like converting or brainwashing men's minds into making themselves their own point of origin, right? It's really like women are pushing men to the red pill. They are the ones that market the red pill, right? Men don't have to sell the red pill to anyone. I could literally make it my mission, and some people have made it their mission to, demonize it or discredit it. There's people that are spending, millions of dollars are being spent to discredit the red pill, and yet it's still around. It's been around for decades, and it's not going away. Um, so why is that? It's because the marketing is not done by the content creators, the writers, the regular guys that are posting their experiences on forums, right? Which is what the red pill was based off of or built on. It is basically women. Women are the ones that, break men and break their minds and get them to start looking for answers. Um, and that's why step one is really like women drive them to that point. And it's not like single women or married women or the women they're married to. It's women in general, right? All women of all different classes, ages, marital status, relationships, what have you, will push men to the red pill, right? Um, so step one is you suck in life, you suck with women because women are not making life easy for you. They are not having sex with you. They're not compliant. They're not submissive. They don't make you happy. They cause problems. And you're just like, what am I doing wrong? And that's all. That's why the famous Google type in is what gets men here. It's because they're not. It's not like, hey, they saw. Obviously, they'll see a podcast here and there, right? But for the most part, a lot of the guys are just like they Google, hey, why won't my wife have sex with me? And it begins their whole journey, right? And they find some guy with long gray hair talking about, the 12 iron rules of Tomasi or something. They're like, what the heck? And then they read the book and then they go on from there, right? So that's always step one. Um, anyways, hey, we have Jack and how you doing, sir? Um, let me get you guys are howdy fellas. We got Jack in the chat.
Howdy, fellas.
We got my member Julian. How you doing, sir? We got Filipino working at CVS.
Howdy, fellas.
We got Matthew W. How you doing, sir? We got Viking Paradigm himself. How you doing, Skull? And we got X Runner. How you guys doing? A lot of good familiar faces. Thanks for joining me tonight. All right. So yeah, that's step one. Basically, guys, is just holy shit, I suck. Right. And that's good. You need to know, like, the cool thing about being a guy is that life will show you. Life will show you that you suck. Yes, there's buffers and stuff like that. Like you could be terminally online and just, like these guys that make these fantasies about themselves that they don't suck. But eventually, when your PP is not touched for a long period of time, whether it be by any chick you're dealing with, you're married, or just women in general, you're going to start looking for answers. You're going to start thinking, hey, what am I doing wrong? Right. And you'll confide in a friend. You'll 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 look at game channels, right? And then we're very adjacent to the PUAs and game people, so eventually they're going to find their way um to this content, and the rest is history. So yeah, step one. All right, so we got already got 100 people in here, 80 on Twitter and 28 on YouTube. So thanks, guys. If you guys are on Twitter, please retweet if you don't mind. If you want to, I don't know. Okay, so number two, right? You get mad at others because you suck and wish someone would understand. Okay, so this is the part where it's kind of like, hey, we think of this list like a lot of the unplugging, right? Unplugging is like the 5 stages of grief, right? Where you have denial, you have depression, sadness, acceptance, whatever. And it's similar, right? But there's extra steps because it really is what makes it so many steps is the male ego, right? And thinking that you have some kind of control over certain things. But for this step, it's very similar to the stages of unplugging because you get mad. And anger is part of one of the stages of unplugging where you're just angry. You're not even sure why you don't even know who you're angry at. It's not the women. It's not society in general, you're angry at yourself. You just don't know it yet. Like, how could you be duped? Or how could you have wasted so much time thinking this way? How could you have wasted your whole life serving and sacrificing for others, and you get almost nothing in return? And thinking that if you did that, you would get love and sex and appreciation, but you're not. And then you realize, like, you read these books and look at these podcasts or whatever, and you're just like, holy shit, like, how come things can't work the way I want them to work? Why can't I just be a blue pill guy or, you know, idealistic guy and get love like all the movies and my parents did and everything teaches me? Why do I have to be this? Why do I have to follow this? It doesn't make sense. And that creates anger and frustration, right? You will constantly be like, hey, um, why won't people understand? Right. And these guys tend to like gravitate towards the MRAs uh, spaces and MRA content creators, right? Because MRAs basically they just want someone to hear them out. They want people to understand the struggle of being a man, and they're like, hey, um, why don't why doesn't society feel more sorry for me? Why isn't Men's Mental Health Month more important? Why are we ignoring men's mental health issues? Why do we not care? Right? And they get stuck there, and that's it. That's their whole life. Like, hey, why are men not getting treated better by society as much? Why am I not getting treated better? Um, and the thing is, uh, you you get to this point where eventually you're just gonna be like, okay, feeling sorry for myself is not leading me anywhere. Like literally, I am not any closer to getting laid. I'm not any closer to a promotion at work. I'm not like I literally have become the victim, right? I am a victim now because I read the red pill and I can't believe how shitty life uh I can't believe how shitty I'm treated as a man. Because at first, in the beginning, step one, you're just like, yeah, I suck. But then you keep reading more, and you're just like, wait, so all this is stacked against me? Like, I quit. Like, I can't, and that's where the MRAs, maybe some black pillars get out there, get stuck there. Um, so yeah. So step three. Step three is you look for help and you're told you fucking suck. So you look for help, right? You go to maybe a married red pill if you're married. Maybe you interact or meet. You get a consult with a red pill guy or whatever, or you read a book that shows you a mirror of you, who you are. That you're an average frustrated chump, sorry, um, and all that, and you start saying like, "Hey, I need help." Like you finally get over the whole I'm an independent man. I'll figure out myself. You say, "Hey, I need help." Right? Please help me. Um, so instead of taking an approach of um, I'll figure this out myself or I'm a victim, right? You're starting to ask the right questions, right? You're starting to ask, hey, where can I get help? Who do I get help from? Who knows? Who's knowledgeable? How do I get in contact with them? Right. So that's like Google search. That's just reading books. Just you start ODing on red pill stuff and all that stuff. So yeah, it's an important step. Um, and you're gonna start realizing how bad you really were. Like step one, you suck because you're just not doing great in life, right? And women don't like you. So it's just like, but when you actually get to these spaces of men that have successful relationships that kind of put in the work and all that, you're gonna feel like it's holding a mirror against you, and you're gonna be like, wow, I really do suck, right? Like I looked at my friends and my family, and they're also struggling, but they're getting by, right? But I like these guys that understand intersectional dynamics. They're getting everything they wanted. I really do suck. I'm out of shape. Like, I was comparing myself to people in real life, which are also out of shape, but these guys are jacked and making money and are happy and are slaying or happy in their marriage or whatever. And you just like, you start feeling like, oh, what do I got to do to get that? Right. And that is, my friend, step three. You look for help and you're told you fucking suck. All right. So here's where step four is where the majority of men um, the majority of men, right, uh, stay. Step 4 is like this is where the money's made. This is where guys like they start using this as to rant on the internet, to express their frustration. They wear the red pill as a skin suit, and all that. This is step 4, and step 4 is you spurg out. You just become a spurg, right? Um, you stop here and you start to say crazy things. You start to act crazy. You start to like go on dates and ask women like what their body count is and all that stuff because you don't know what to do with those information. You think you can control the universe, right? You think you can um, control women. You think you can hold them accountable. You think that you're this mastermind that now that you know red pill, that women are just gonna be like, "Oh my God, you're so smart, sensei." Uh, and you also think that you're better than people, right? You're better than people that aren't as red pill as you, right? Guys that make more money than you, guys that are happy in their marriages, you're better than them because you know this and they know, even though they're fine. Um, so this is the part. Sorry about that. That's my washing machine or my dryer. Um, that this is the part where a lot of guys get stuck, right? Because this is the male ego again. Like, hey, you read something that gives you some kind of insight, right? And now you think you're better than people, and it's manifesting in the way you date and all that stuff. But here again, here is the kicker that this is not what the red pill is. This is where a lot of guys get stuck because they think, now that I know this, I'm better than the average person. I am an elite, right? I have status. I can red pill my friends. I'm so knowledgeable about everything. And they look stupid in the progress, hence the word spurg. Um, you could see this on the timeline on Twitter. You can see this in several channels on YouTube. You can see this with people that are very insecure, uh, live a fake life. Online they're like a huge smooth player guy, and then in the real life, they're absolute loser or cornball or just don't approach women in general. Um, and most of they use the red pill more as entertainment, more as a hey, this I'm ranting, or hey, women are still not compliant, even though I know this red pill stuff. It's because there's something wrong with them, right? And they just keep making it about women and how women aren't good enough, women this, women that, right? Um, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad to see that a lot of guys will stick here forever, and that's it. They're always gonna blame their girl problems on women, and even when they opt in to their own dating problems, meaning, hey, uh, I decided to wife up this girl, and um, yet she told me all these things. I opted into my own destruction with women, and it's their fault, right? And what is more feminine than that? And that's the thing that a lot of guys in that consume this content hate because yes, I understand that as a guy you've been held to a very high standard and women they're kind of showing us that they can do whatever they want and they're like running victory laps around men and all that stuff. Like open hypergamy is that big victory lap where women are like, "Yay, I sucked 100 dicks and you're still going to marry me, stupid." That open hypergamy is what is getting thrown in your face constantly, and that can cause you to have a reaction, right? And that reaction is, hey, like, uh, you know, I'm going to decipher women that way. This will never happen. And it becomes male neuroticism, aka again, spurging. You become neurotic. So, um, even when men like this know so much about the red pill, they think they do. They still opt in to their own destruction, right? They still forget to wear condoms with women. Like, that's literally one of the eye rolls of Tomasi. They have it, they fail Jumbotron tests. Um, they fall in love with women they shouldn't be falling in love with. They get jealous, mate guarding, like all the things that you think a person would know, right? Not to do because they read the red pill, right? Praxology and understand it, they still do, right? And here's the part where it's just like, okay, why do I keep why can I not shut the hell up? Why do I have to why do I still send dick pics to girls? Why do I still argue with my wife? why am I still angry when a girl rejects me? Why do I go online and I see you know, some slut uh being combative on a podcast, like yelling at Rolo Tomasi, and you get mad and super chat $50 or something and to insult her, right? Why do you do that, right? And you know, Rolo Tomasi deserves every penny he gets, right? But why do you do that? And it's because you're just not there yet. And the guys that do get it, right? They kind of we see this all the time, and that's why a lot of the guys that do get it are very hesitant to work with others or to reach out and be friends or anything, right? Because guys like these, what happens is, like, I was on a podcast, right? You guys probably know which one it was. Like last year, I think it was. Yeah, last year, summer of last year, I was on a podcast where it was a panel show and there was women around. And there was one time I was on there, right? Um, and there was these chicks next to me, and both of them, one of them was they both did adult content, right? And you know, I know why they were there. It's to get likes and views, right? Before the show, the ladies were very kind and let me drink they brought vodka. They're like party girls, you know, like what do you expect out of girls that do porn and date abusive NFL players or college football players, right? It's just they want to have fun, they want to party. Um, so what happens here is that like they get brought into the show, and I sit next to them. And before the show, they were very nice, very giggly. You know their dopamine receptors are fried from getting so much attention from men everywhere they go. And they let me have their vodka, and I was like, "Wow, these girls are really nice." Yeah, like they're turbo sluts, right? But you know, as long all I care about is people treating me nice, regardless of their background. If you treat me nice, I'm gonna treat you nice back. You know, as long as you don't do anything egregious. We sit down in the show, and then like halfway through the show, the host decides to kick one of these girls out, right? And I look at I felt in this situation. I think I had Phil Foster sitting next to me. And I look at the situation and I'm like, wow, I have never felt this feeling before. Sort of like a kind of deep disappointment. But it wasn't so much in the host. It was just like, I wouldn't say disappointment. It reminded me of a version of myself that I have worked so hard to overcome and improve, which is like the angry, frustrated kid that thought that all women were out to get him, right? And I finally was able to look at women for what they are, not care about what they did with their vaginas, without, you know, as long as they're not married to me, they're not sleeping with me. I don't care what they did with their vaginas. All I cared about was that were they kind to me? And here I am in the middle of the host and these girls feeling like, wow, I hate that I'm reminded of a version of myself when I was younger and angry. And this is reminding me of and it made me feel very uncomfortable. And I tell you guys, like, that's why it's so important to get to step 12 because you can't find peace until you get to the final step. There's always going to be something burning inside you. You're always going to log on the internet and you're going to consume this stuff and it's going to make you angry, ruin your mood, ruin your day. And it sucks, right? You don't want to live like that. You got better things to live for. And the years that you spend mad at women, at dating, at everything, are years you're never going to get back, right? You're going to find a good girl eventually, as long as you're competent and not a loser and have hygiene. You're going to find a girl you like, and or multiple girls you like, or you're going to start having lots of good sex, or whatever you want, right? And you're going to look back and be like, wow, all I needed was one or two girls to show me some of the best parts of women, so I can move on and not. Right, and that's the part about this is another part about step 4, guys, right? Is that part of that spurginess is that they derive their opinion of dating and women straight from the internet, right? The internet's supposed to be to confirm or to pick your interest about something like women or dating, right? Not to teach you what the reality is, because the internet, you can fake so many things. We literally have AI now. We have, you know, a lot of most TikToks are staged. Um, most TikTok, if they're not staged, they're set up to make you feel something, right? Like, how about instead? Do you think these guys that do street interviews with women, why don't they go to coffee shops? Why don't they go to 5Ks or whatever, group morning class, yoga classes or something like that, where women are gathered there? That's because the women there are not going to give them the same crazy answers. You're not going to get a haktua from a girl walking walking to school, right? Or with her family. You're going to get something more, uh, PG, right? You're not going to get something crazy that'll trigger people, right? You're going to get, and that's the thing about the internet, guys. Remember, every video, even if the person originally posted it, just posted it, that another person's going to use that video to prove a point. Now, is this good or bad? Yeah, it could be used for good, right? It could be show you, hey, this is a thing of women's behavior that's happening. This is how you deal with this, or this is actually happening. But a lot of the content is made to keep you on step forward, mad and angry, and just never moving on. Right? You need to understand that. And there's so many examples. And like I post about this all the time. There's always the post of some OnlyFans girl saying, "I banged 400 dudes in a year," or I think the last one was 428 dudes in a year. Right? How I know that a guy has experience with dating and women is their reaction to these egregiously high body counts. Right? Because let's say uh, she did give it her best shot to fit 428 men. Guys that get it, guys with game, guys with experience, understand that women can barely, um, women can barely plan a coffee date with her friend. Like they can barely get together with their friends to do stuff, right? Um, Imagine a guy, and now imagine one guy every day, sometimes two a day, right? Um, to have sex, and you may think also biologically speaking, there's several things that would stop a girl from having a 428 body count in a year, right? Like, first off, there's bacterial vaginosis, right? Where literally the CDC website says if you fuck too many men in a short period of time, you will get bacterial vaginosis, right? That is when your pussy is discharging constantly um, from having too much sex, different bacteria introduced to your vagina, affecting the pH. Right? And for guys that get it, that's a thing they've seen before in women. Like, hey, that's how you know a woman is probably getting around. Now, is it like completely conclusive? No, it could be, there's other reasons, right? But the main reason that the CDC gives, that website and that organization that was everyone's god in 2020, yeah, that same organization is telling women, hey, the reason you have discharge from your vagina is because you're having sex with a lot of different men. So that would have stopped her. And then not to mention, hey, STD, yeah, STDs not as common, right? But are you testing every single guy that walks in there? Right? 428, that's a higher chance of getting STD that would slow you down, meaning, herpes outbreak or burning pee, right? And I know, use protection, all that stuff. Yeah, but like chances are condom's gonna break. Herpes can be transported skin to skin contact, right? So you see, guys want to be mad. That's why they want to stay in step 4. They want to be mad. Every story, every video that's presented to them, every interview that's presented to them, they want to believe 100%, and they cannot fathom that, hey, maybe because guys like you exist, that's why they're lying about how terrible they are. That's why. Imagine if you're a girl that does OnlyFans and maybe you bang one dude a month, right? Or maybe you have a boyfriend and all you have to do to gain 100 or 200 more followers, which is like $2,000 more dollars or $4,000 more dollars a month, is to somehow get on an article or in an interview or a podcast where you say something or do something egregious. Of course, they're going to lie to you. You are the target demographic. That's the problem. If you get mad at what a woman says online, you are the target demographic and you have work to do. You are still at step 4. So, um, enough with the spurging, enough with believing everything women say, right? Um, the experience will help, but most importantly, watch what they do, not what they say. And watch how 90% of the spurginess of the whatever they call it, the manosphere or the red pill sphere, whatever, is going to go away, right? Because how could you live your life believing everything that the internet says, and more specifically, women say? How can you live your life like that? How? I've seen it all. I've seen women um say and pretend to be the biggest host, and not for social media. To me, they will send you sexual memes. They will send you even nudes. They'll send you nudes. They'll dirty talk and text, and the minute they're in front of you, they clam up. I've seen it so many times. Hell, you may have already hooked up with them, and then the minute they hook up with you, um, the sex is good, but still they're just like, hey, you're like, hey, let's come over. Like, no, I can't. But then the next day, it's like, here's a picture of my titties or something, and then they do this game, right? It happens all the time. So guys with experience, guys that get it, aren't as affected by women saying crazy stuff. Now, does that mean that they're actually good? No, it doesn't mean they're good. It just means that they're lying about something because there's a reason they're lying about it, right? Especially if it's like a body count or something. Of course, they're not going to be honest. Why would they? You know? Oh no, I'm an OnlyFans girl, and I only sleep with one guy a month. No, it makes you more money to lie. So why lie? Why not lie? They have no choice but to lie. You know. So yeah. All right. So all right. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you for the one membership. I appreciate you. You get one of these. Where is it? Ah, here it is.
Thank you so much, best friend.
All right. Thank you for them. I got a bunch of memberships this month because of you, man. All right. Where were we? Uh, okay. Um, yeah, women don't make chads fill out applications to jizzing in the fluffer, right? And the thing is, like, even if she would make, and here's the crazy thing, right? Chads, the guys that she probably not have to like psych herself out into thinking she's attracted to, like the attractive guys, they're probably like too busy to even be that available to sleep with the girl on command, right? To schedule, right? Because here's the thing. If some girl said, "Hey, can you come over right now to have sex?" Right? Guys that get that get laid are just like, "It's Sunday night. I'm playing video games." Or it's Sunday, or I'm hanging out with another girl, or I'm hanging out with my friends, right? If it's true, whoever planned this shouldn't be an OnlyFans. There should be like working logistics, like supply chain. Like that's a skill. That's a skill that very few people have. You could be earning much better without showing off your body. But maybe I don't know. But the thing is, yeah, stop believing. Get some amused mastery, and realize like, hey, if you are mad on the internet by something, then you are the product. You are the target audience. If you're not mad, then it's not for you, right? That's why Michaela girl made the list. A lot of guys got mad. It went viral, and a lot of guys were like, "This list doesn't mean anything," right? And then I showed you guys like literally a perfect example. Like, hey, don't believe what they say. Watch what they do. So, yeah. Hey, Alex, what's up, man? Okay. So we talked enough about four because that's where a lot about four because that's where a lot of guys stay stuck forever. They stay stuck forever in step four. All right, so all right, so number five, you actually read the sidebar, right? Sidebar, a collection of books and works that help you kind of get to the deep dark bottom trenches of your ego and pull you out of these covert contracts you have, pull you out of all these beliefs you have. Like, for example, um, a lot of guys think that money will solve all their problems with women, including marriage, right? And you realize like money is not going to make you more assertive, right? With women, maybe in your job, maybe in your business, whatever made you successful, right? But I've seen it all. I've seen like high level ranking officers and enlisted in the military um, bend over backwards for their wives. Their wives are fat, bitchy, angry, but they are, there's these high ranking men that have taken bullets, right? Men have done crazy stuff for the military, but their wives dominate and run their lives. Um, and it's because it doesn't really translate all the time. Most of the time, it doesn't translate, right? You see CEOs, high level athletes getting embarrassed by their wives constantly. And again, it's like, hey, that thought that, hey, if I have money and status, it'll protect me from, I don't have to worry about women's behavior or in women's innate biological behavior, whatever. But the truth is, you still do, regardless. It may help to have money, right? It may help her, uh, that beta side of hypergamy, calm it down and say, hey, you're safe financially. You don't have to worry if you get pregnant or, who's going to pay the bills, right? I get that. But, there's this book called When I Say No, I Feel Guilty, that'll teach you how to be assertive, right? And how many guys can tell their wife no nowadays? Hey, let's go to my sister's. No. And that book kind of gives you tools to be assertive, fogging, broken record, negative assertion. All those things are designed so you can stand your ground regardless of your social status, regardless of how much money you make, regardless of your race, religion, whatever. You can use those mental models so you can have a better life, right? So guys start reading the sidebar. And that's just one book on the sidebar, but guys start reading the sidebar and they're just like, holy crap, it's almost like a second red pill, right? Because to them, they thought the red pill was women suck and here's why. And now that you know that they suck, they have to bow down to you for some reason. That make that weird connection, right? Um, and what goes on a guy's mind when he starts reading the sidebar is that he starts realizing, oh shit, I'm not as fucking. I thought I was red pill, but apparently I still have a lot of work to go. Right? Like they read No More Mr. Nice Guy, and they figure out like, hey, they figure out what a covert contract is, and they're like, holy shit! And it's like a second because ultimately when they took the red pill, they made it external to them. Women are the ones that need to be fixed and need to change. I'm good. I'm the victim here. I've been sacrificing my whole life, right? And that's why the other day or last week when I made the video, most guys opt into their own destruction. A lot of guys didn't like that topic, right? I got a couple of comments saying, hey, I disagree. And I get it, right? But the thing is, like, the point of the red pill is for you. It's for a positive sexual identity for you, right? And what is positive? What is positively masculine um about you having the power to avoid a situation and not avoiding it and blaming women? That sounds really weak to me, right? Now, you make mistakes. You're a guy, you're a human being. You make mistakes, right? You may make a mistake here and there. That's okay. We're no one's perfect. Even I make mistakes. But aside from that, what is positive about when you have the power to avoid a situation that can ruin your life, ruin your sex life, ruin your job, ruin everything, whatever, ruin your health, um, but you still opt into your own destruction, and then you look around and you're just like, it was women who did this. Why am I such a victim? Right? You have the power most of the time to opt in or opt out of your own destruction. Do you always see it coming? No, right? But as life goes on, the point of the red pill is to help you not so much see it coming, but deal with it as things come up, right? And get rid of that neuroticism of dealing with women. Like, oh, if I say this, she'll be mad, or if I don't know her body count, she's gonna cheat on me if she has a high body count, whatever. Those things are for women to worry about. You have better things to worry about than that. So yeah, yeah. Um, so that's why it's important to read the sidebar. And like just like I said, step 6 is that you fail, but you grow along the way, right? Maybe your marriage is like too far gone, and you try to be assertive, but your wife, your soon to be ex-wife is like, no, no way, I'm done. I'm already banging Chad. We're done here. And then she begins the divorce process, and she intends to ruin you, right? Or you realize like, hey, I've been a pushover for my friends and family my whole life, and I've sacrificed for them, and they've given me nothing. And you're just like, holy shit. Um, and you try to be assertive with your friends and family, and you're just like, you suck. You can't even like they just like, we know who you are. Stop this, and you fold, right? You don't you capitulate and you fold. Or you could go out and realize like, hey, like I talk all this red pill mumbo jumbo on the internet, but I haven't approached a girl in like a month or 2 months or whatever. Let me go out there and talk to some women. Then you fail, you get rejected, you look stupid, right? But then you realize like, wait, this is what it is. It's this. I was using the red pill before as a buffer against rejection. I was not using the red pill to improve my life, right? Instead of going out there and being like, now I know this information, let me go use it, right? Or at least use it to explain some things that happened in my past. Instead, you're just like, uh, you were using it as an excuse not to approach women, an excuse to not go after the things you want in life, and an excuse to suck in general, right? Like I suck with women because women have too many high demands, right? Um, but yeah, you're gonna make mistakes, but that's the point. It's like this at this part is where the ego starts fading away. You realize that you truly do suck, and you truly needed to work on yourself the whole time. It was not women that were the issue, right? Because issues are only things you can fix. Can you fix women? No. Can you fix yourself? Yes. So let's focus on the things we can fix. So you got to look inward, and looking inward is scary. It's scary. Holding a mirror to yourself is absolutely terrifying. I know, right? You're gonna realize, hey, the women in my life, a lot of them didn't like me because of this, and I know it now, right? I wasn't assertive. That's why my wife cheated on me. I was a pushover. Not the best scenario, right? But like, what was she supposed to do? You're a lazy pushover. You didn't do the work. You were overweight. Of course she's gonna leave. Like it was a miracle she stayed that long, and that's a hard thing for guys to accept because divorce causes a lot of pain and anguish in people's lives, right? And then there's other things that really burn, right? Where it's like you read stuff, you have to get over your revenge fantasy, right? Because here on step 4, guys are just like, that girl's never gonna have love, right? And then you see Riley Reid get married. You see women in your own life get married, right? But at the same time, you see women that you've dated that weren't so bad, or female friends, lonely, alone, depressed. And it's like, wait, so women that were terrible people get in relationships and get their happily ever after, but the women I actually like that are, you know, had a decent experience with are still lonely and alone? How do I square that circle? Right. And that's when you realize, like, hey, there is no overall comeuppance. Like, it's always boils down to just, life happening and people falling in, individual decisions of being in a relationship or not. Right. You make mistakes. And one of those mistakes was that believing that you had it all figured out because you read a couple books and watched a couple podcasts. But yeah, the step 7 is, or sorry, step 6 um, is a very painful but beautiful part of unplugging, right? And hopefully guys get this far. Most never get this far. We're halfway through the list, and most guys don't even get this far, right? Um, all right, so step 7 is you think you get it, right? And this step 7 is basically, uh, you've got all this information, you've read the sidebar, you're just like, okay, I am a complete human being. I figured it out. I'm going to start a podcast, or I'm going to red pill on my friends, or I feel like I'm so enlightened. I'm going to go out there and use these tools for good. Um, And yeah, you get this kind of little confident reassurance that you know everything there is to know about intersexual dynamics. And then you realize, wait a minute, I'm still tripping over myself. I'm still the things that I talk so much about and believe, I'm starting to feel like it doesn't come natural to me. Why is it so hard to be assertive? Why is it so hard to get rejected by women? Right? Why do I take it so personally? Why do I like lose my composure after like why do I think every girl that sleeps with me wants to be in a relationship with me, right? Why is it so hard for me to let go of girls that I liked in the past? Why do I still message them sometimes for sex or just to get back together? Why, right? And then at number 7, uh sorry, at number 8, right, is that you get why you didn't get it in 7, right? And here's an interesting part. Here's an interesting step, right? Because you thought it was some big esoteric reason and big like, oh shit, this never this it was because I didn't read this passage or anything. And it's usually you didn't just take enough action. You have trouble with rejection because you're using dating apps too much and not going out there and getting rejected in person. Um, you fear being assertive with people because you have attachment issues with people that you love. You feel like if you're assertive with them, they're gonna leave you, right? And then you start figuring out, oh, goes really deep. I'm really pulling out like the deepest, darkest parts of my psyche and laying them out in front of me. And it's a very painful experience. All right. I don't know if the phrase ego death exists, but this is your ego death, right? We're like, holy crap, there really is a lot of stuff deep down inside me that I had no idea was there. Right. It was very buried within there. And I was like, holy shit, how do I get this out? And then you finally look at yourself and you're just like, oh, I figured out all my covert contracts, and this is why I was mad at my girl, and this is why she left me. This is why this person left my life, or this is why I like this type of girl, and this is why I cheated on my girl that I loved. Apparently, right? Because probably you didn't know what you wanted. You probably wanted that type of girl, or you didn't want to be in a relationship, and you didn't understand. You were too afraid to be single, or something like that. So many things to work on, and it's pretty awesome. All right, so number 9. You get why women thought you sucked before and don't blame them anymore. And this will definitely separate you from most people that consume red pill content, is that you're no longer mad at women. And this is like, holy shit. Like a lot of guys look at you like they'll call you a simp. They're like, what do you mean you're not mad at women? What do you mean? They're causing, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're doing everything bad. They're the ones that they're running society into the ground, right? Whatever, guys say explicitly or implicitly. But the thing is, like, first off, you'll realize like disliking women, like on purpose, like generally going out there and looking for the worst behavior and examples of them. Um, you're that gets tiring. You get exhausted, right? You burn out from hating. I trust me, I know it is. Like, and you don't have the energy. And here's the funny part. A lot of guys are like one blow job away from no longer hating women, and that's hilarious. That's one of the most hilarious things you'll find um, on the internet. Is most guys are one blow job away from thinking women aren't so bad, right? And that's part of like, hey, you get um, why women thought you sucked, right? And it's because uh, you know you weren't socially calibrated. You were entitled. Usually it's entitlement. Like, hey, I'm hot. I did all the work. I make 6 figures, right? I'm a step 4 guy. And then you go up to a girl and you talk to her like she's like condescendingly or like, hey, look at all this awesome stuff and awesome life I have, right? Whereas guys that get it are just like, I'm gonna leave with charm, and I'll drop a hint or a story which implies that I have a little bit of money or implies that I have a pretty cool lifestyle, right? Discovery is better than disclosure. right? Always lead with game and let her find out, breadcrumb her, let her find out on her own how awesome you are, right? Um, and yeah, and not blaming women is tough, guys. That's because it's like a lot of us have suffered at the hands of women, right? We didn't know better. We thought, hey, if I do these things, women will love me, or if I do these things, she at least won't leave me, or I won't cheat on me, or all that stuff. And she did. And on your journey, you're always going to look at women that hurt you, and the women that do the same things that the women in your life did to you, as evil. You're going to be like, wow, these evil women. But then over time, you start realizing after having several decent relationships with women, whether it be, everything up to a wife to like casual sex and all that stuff, even a first a one night stand, right? Um, you're gonna realize like, hey, I just did a certain set of things and I was so bad that, women just acted like they were supposed to act, right? Like if you lead with money and a woman uses you for your money, what a shocker that is, guys. You see what I'm saying? What a big shocker. A woman, you threw money at her, you threw free dinners, you threw free stuff at her, expensive dates, you gave money away like it was nothing. Maybe she threw some sex at you or whatever. And then now you think women are evil because she decided to go with someone else. Now and then you realizing that, wow, that was me. And that's tough, right? Um we all go through this, right? One of the big things, one big thing that guys suffer about in dating, especially when they start leveling up, is that they think that because women sleep with them, that they want to be in relationships. And the truth is that most women do not want to be in relationships, right? So, um, what happens is, like that Fred story, right? And Cappy's book, The Menu. He had everything he wanted, and a guy could want great job, in shape, and he had hot women around him, right? But he could never get one to commit to him, right? Because in his mind, he thought women were terrible. They don't want to commit because they're whores, right? Instead of saying, hey, that's not really my problem whether they want to commit or not. As long as they're having sex and being pleasant, that's all I care about, right? That's a great mental model, right? And women hate that mental model because they want us to worry. They want that eroticism that they have about dating to pass to us. The thing is, like, no, that neuroticism is women's problem. Her body count is her problem. Who she fucks and the consequences of that are your problem. As long as you use protection and she's not like your wife or long term girlfriend. Who she fucks or who she has fucked is not your problem. Right? She has to deal with the consequences of STDs, um of a high body count in general, right? That whatever comes with high body count. She has to deal with that, not you. You're chilling. You're living your own life, and if things don't work out, there's always another girl. Um, but yeah. Uh, so guys make all this money and they think, hey, all girls want to sleep with me, and then they don't. And then they start wondering over time, what the hell is wrong with me? And you see they're still defaulting to their beta ways, thinking that their whole life has to be qualifying to women and what they want. And once they qualify to women, at some point, women are going to give them sex and love, intimacy, whatever, right? And I, just like everyone else, I learned this the hard way. Thank God it wasn't a girlfriend, but I was casually seeing a girl, and it had been a couple months, and I wasn't being introduced to her family. I wasn't. She wasn't like jealous about me. She not hey, she didn't even want me to game her. She was like every time I acted like teased her, she was like stop, like she got like flustered red. She did not want anything from me except sex and maybe a night out, a couple drinks, right? And then one day I stumbled upon her Hinge profile, right? Because I'm the player here. She's the one struggling to get with me because I'm so awesome. And I saw that on her Hinge profile, she had one or two pics that I had taken of her. You know, just messing around. Maybe we were at a coffee shop and all that stuff. And it didn't hurt me. Like I was like, because I wasn't in love. I was just. It's like an ego thing. Like, oh, I thought this girl was so into me that I was irreplaceable and all that stuff. But at the same time, I had to be like, okay, this girl is gonna leave me at any time, at any point. So mentally prepare for this. She's gonna leave me. It doesn't matter. She's looking for my replacement, right? Um, 4 more months, 5 more months passed. We still hooked up. Sex got better and better. I didn't get it, right? So yeah, um, you need to get over this. You need to get over your hangups, right? You need to get over you need to constantly check yourself. You need to say, hey, like, just because I sleep with a girl doesn't mean she wants to be with me. She's desperate for a relationship, right? Women, that's not how women are, right? Women choose your role in their life. Women have agency, right? And that's why I say most of the time, most of your lays will come from being the right guy at the right time. And being the right guy, all that means is maybe just wearing a nice clothes and smelling good and being a little bit jacked. That's your what you do to increase the chances of getting chosen, right? But for the most part, the relationship is her problem, whether it be a one night stand or a marriage, right? The relationship is her problem. She's the one that has to work on it. She's the one that has to worry about it, right? Obviously, at some point, there's going to be times where you have to participate in the planning of the future, right? Like, like if a girl asks you, what are we? Then you have to give her an answer. You can't just run away. But for the most part, uh, you don't, uh, you don't want to be you don't want to be the guy that believes all these lies, that these lower tier manosphere podcasts tell you, because all it's doing, right, is making them money and making you more susceptible to going crazy, to your mental health and all that stuff, right? Trust me, it is much easier on your brain and on your life and on your psyche to just realize that, hey, being the right guy at the right time is what gets you laid, not, hey, being awesome and every girl that talks to you is just so enamored by your status and your money and all that stuff, right? Because if there's one guy with status, there's probably another guy with more status or more money or some other Skyrim slider where they outdo you, right? Whereas for me, it's easier to just go out and be like, hey, you looked like a celebrity that I like and I want to fuck you, right? I prefer that. Right now, you got to have game. You got to have some kind of social calibration so you don't say anything so stupid. You dry her up and she runs away, right? But at the same time, um, it takes off so much weight off your brain, right? Like realizing, hey, these mental models are not meant to win against women, to win arguments, to show that your gender's better or worse or their whatever. That's not what it's meant for. It's meant for you so you can have a positive male identity and go to sleep at night in peace every night and live your life in fucking peace. It's always about that, right? When anyone uses the red pill to win arguments, it's not really the red pill, right? It's more like a scientific maybe debate, but the red pill is not about anyone but you. So if you have a mental model that works, then use it and run with it, right? And I'm telling you, a lot of times it's hard to use them because it makes you feel like you're less than you are. Of course, you want to believe that you're so smooth that any girl you talk to at a certain place, you can bag, right? But also think about that. Think about what that does to you as a guy. Meaning that if you fail, if you stop, if you like go around and you start talking to women, let's say at a salsa night, anime con, at a classy event, New Year's party, pool party, wherever there's women, right? Hot women, right? Um, and you fail 3 times, 3 girls are like, ugh. How are you gonna explain that to yourself? Oh, the women here suck, or they're not into you know, you're not drunk enough yet, or this place, like, that sounds so lame. Instead of, hey, I'm just not her type. Yes, I'm just not her type. So what's better, right? These mental models don't exist to denigrate you either, right? They're just to ground you so you can freaking move on with being mad at the world and like fix yourself and go from there. Um, and the list goes on. There's so many like she's not yours, it's just your turn. A lot of guys, wow, that's so defeatist, right? And then you explain to them, hey, like women are property, they leave whenever they want. Some of them leave without warning, some of them leave with warning, but ultimately, you see every woman as, hey, she can leave whenever she chooses to leave. Meaning that if she left, it's on her. It isn't because she's crazy. It isn't because you suck, right? It could be because you suck, right? But also realize that, hey, even if you're awesome like Tom Brady, like Elon Musk, like literally every human male that ever lived, a woman can still leave you. It doesn't matter how awesome you are, a woman can still leave. And me personally, I'd rather a girl choose to be with me than forced to be with me, you know? And this, guys, as you can see, as we get lower on this or higher on this list, right? Or lower, whatever, however you see it, you start seeing how much how much you feel different from the guys that don't get it, right? So like if right now in this part of the show where I'm telling you guys the things that I struggle with, right? And I show you guys, hey, like knowing these things has helped me immensely. If I say that to a guy who still thinks that he's like he controls the universe because he knows the iron rules of Tomasi or something like that, right? Or he's read a couple Ryan books or whatever, or watched a podcast here and there. It's like we're speaking two different languages. Matter of fact, he's gonna say, "Oh, you're just a simp. You're defending women." I'm like, no, dude. I'm asking you to stop opting into your own problems with women. You did it to yourself all the time, right? You got a girl pregnant. You didn't use protection, stupid. You should have, right? So that's just one example, right? The list goes on. You fail a jumbotron roll. I sent a dick pic to a girl. I thought she was into me, and then she blocked me. And I'm like, yeah, dude, jumbotron rule. Would you want you sending a dick pic on a giant jumbotron? Maybe wait till she's your girlfriend. Maybe wait till she sends you something first or something. So at least you have a little bit of leverage on her, right? But no, dude, it's just what is masculine about making mistakes that you had 100% control over and either not admitting to them or blaming women. Nothing is masculine about that. It doesn't improve your masculinity to be a victim ever, right? And even if you are a victim, you got to find a way to not be a victim as soon as possible, right? And that's the way it is. And that's the purpose of Red Pill. Hey, you got victimized by women, not because women are terrible. Sometimes they are. It's because you didn't know better. Now that you know, the ball's in your court. Now you can decide, or you have the power because of knowledge, not to do stupid shit. But guys still do it. And when a guy gets to this step, which step are we on now? Step 9, you get why a woman thought you sucked. I can tell. I can tell them, hey, you guys aren't really red pill because, like you keep blaming women for the things that you opted into, you know, and it's kind of your fault. You did it to yourself. Oh, but women need accountability. Well, you can't hold them accountable, but you can hold yourself accountable. So let's do that. Let's change the things we can change. So yeah. All right. Let's move on to step 10. But first, let's take a quick break, guys. Appreciate your participation in the chat. Leave a super chat if you think this is a helpful stream. I'm going to play a commercial and see you in a bit. All right, we're back. All right, sorry, I've been ranting for so long. Anyways, uh, any cool. All right. Let's see. What's up, Sean? How you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. I'm guessing you have a lot of work now because all these natural disasters. Why are you mentioning that loser's name? Yeah. All right. What's up, Mish? Nice to see you, sir. Um, all right. We have 742 viewers, 747, 44 watching on YouTube, and 1 watching on Twitch. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys' participation. Uh, is that the real Pearl? Can someone find out? Um, all right. So, excuse me. Sorry. Um, okay, cool. Well, hi, Pearl. Hope maybe you get something out of this. All right. So step 9, you get why women thought you sucked before them and don't blame them anymore, right? Hard step, guys will continue want to blame women for everything and um make their problems, make their happiness everything but their own problem. Hey, it's women's problem I'm not happy. It's because they suck dicks somewhere. Okay, dude. Okay, a woman somewhere is doing something you don't like. What are you gonna do in your own life? Why don't you follow your own dreams and realize that it was never about women? It was always about you not being able to be your mental point of origin. You were too afraid, um, and you didn't want to be selfish like they are. Like it made you mad. Anyways, um, all right. So where were we? Okay, so step 10, you get mad at other guys who suck now. Okay, so this is the part where you play Captain Saber, bro, right? Oh, before I go into that, here's a super chat from Julian. You get one of these, sir. Uh,
Thank you so much, best friend!
Julian Reyes with the $2. Do you think these phases go in any particular order? Uh, yeah, I think that this list follows the order pretty closely. Like I at least in my life, it's made a lot of sense. Maybe I skipped a step here and there, but for the most part, yeah, it'll make sense here when I finish the list. But yeah, thanks for your $2. All right, so anyways, where was I? Okay, so yeah, step 10, you get mad at other guys who suck now. So okay, you figured everything out. You read the sidebar. You're getting a little late, or your wife likes you again, or your relationships are getting better. You finally get it right, but then your friends are like lagging behind, and like they're not getting it. They're getting stood up on dates, or they're fat, or they just don't care, right? And you're like mad at them. The relationships you have with your friend are strained now because you understand the red pill and they don't, right? You use the red pill, you've improved your life, but they don't. You want to play Captain Save a Bro. And here's the thing, like that's another thing where it's like you want to control the universe. You think because red pill and you fix your life, you can save guys, right? You want to become a savior. You have a savior complex, right? You may even make content or a show where you're just like, we got to get together and get guys educated and all that stuff. We got to get together and save the West. Why do these guys suck so bad? You get so angry because you realize like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink, right? And also the red pill is not meant for everyone, right? It's not meant for people who don't want to take it. You can't force people you can't compel behavior, right? You can only incentivize it, right? If you truly cared about your friend, right? Instead of worrying about what they do with their love life, right? You just be there for them. Like, hey, they have car trouble, go out and help them with their car, right? Hey, they're a member of theirs passed, be there for them, right? Hey, they need help moving furniture. Hey, or they just want to hang out with you for the weekend or go out and do something fun. Those are what real friends do, right? But um real friends, don't give unsolicited advice all the time. Real friends don't criticize every single life decision you make, they make. You just hang out there, right? Obviously, if there's glaring issues, like they become jealous that you have women and they don't, or they are trying to get out they're trying to, you know they're jealous that you have women and they don't, or something like that, right? Then yeah, you might want to get rid of them, right? But for the most part, the red pill is an individual, is taken by an individual, not by a group of people, right? And that's one of the reasons people have a lot of trouble with what the red pill is, because to them it's a group of people where we're all holding hands, or getting doing meetings in deep dark caves, or the Legion of Doom from Justice League or something, where we discuss what's the next thing we can do to oppress women. When the reality is, we're all individuals with their own lives. None of us, you see us on a screen together, but when that screen goes off, we go back to our own individual lives with our own individual problems and relationships and hang-ups, and we really don't have much to do with each other, right? So, and I think the best, if you truly want to red pill a friend, first off, make sure that they're ready. Um, just leave a copy of the Rational Mail. Be like, hey, this helped me. Maybe it'll help you, and that's it. Never talk about it again, right? And if they do read it, they're probably gonna have this moment where it's just like, oh my god, holy shit, I didn't know. Like, they're gonna go through the phases, right? And they may very well get stuck at phase 4, where they're spurging out for the rest of the time on the internet and in real life. Uh, and it may be even worse, right? Because they're never gonna move past step 4. And here you are at step 10. And you're just like, damn it. I thought that giving them the Rational Mail or showing them this podcast or the sidebar, that they would finally get it and they'll be just like me. But the truth is, everyone is different. Everyone is going at their own pace. And sometimes, guys, some people were just not meant to make it. They were meant to be stuck and struggle with their relationships. And that's okay. Not your problem, right? Uh and that brings us to step 11, where, hey, you realize that they're not your problem and it's not your job to save them, because you saved yourself. And here's the thing, right? Um, this is where it kind of gets a little lonely, right? Where you know the stuff, you've applied it, you're doing great, you're finally at peace. You don't even consume red pill stuff barely anymore. You have a Twitter account where you like to tweet here and there, but your wife's blowing you, obsessed, wants to fuck you all the time, or the girl, you have a rotation of girls, or you have like it's solved, solved. You have no, sorry, my internet is acting weird. But anyway, yeah, it's solved. You don't have anything to worry about right now. So you're just like, um, why can't my friends be here? And then you realize, like, hey, it wasn't about bringing my friends into the inner circle of this Valhalla of knowledge and enlightenment, right? It's always about me, right? I'm not here to fix another man's problem. We're not in this together, right? If your friend needs help with anything else, you should help raise your friend. But in terms of um, trying to red pill them, good luck, right? It's like Rolo says, the red pill is like triage, right? You save who you can and read the last rites to the dying. And I have read the last rites to the dying many times in the military, in my personal life. I've seen friends commit cardinal errors, right? Even after me kind of lightly explaining these topics, right? You're not here for that. And red pills is becoming much more popular than it used to be. I had a barber who lived down the street. I'm like, wow, barber right down the street. This should be convenient. And it was a dude. Like, the dude looked pretty cool. So I'm like, okay, cool. Can't wait to get. So I got my hair cut, and then his barber shop, of course, is called Testosterone Barbershop. And while he was cutting my hair the second time, he was like, "Have you ever heard what's called the red pill?" right? And I'm already here. I'm making content at this point. So I act dumb. I'm like, oh, is that like the manosphere stuff? I played dumb, right? And he's like, yeah, yeah. And then, we talk a little bit about it. It's hard for me to play dumb because, I'm super into this stuff, right? So um, then a couple haircuts later, talks about his ex-wife and his ex-wife to destroy his life and all that, how terrible she was. I'm like, oh, okay, it makes sense that he learned about the red pill. And then a couple weeks later, he uh he gets back with his ex-wife. He says he gets back with his ex-wife, or he mentions that my ex-wife is here to pick me up. I don't know what happened to him. He got really sick, lost a lot of weight, and all that stuff. So maybe it was motivated by his illness, and he needed someone to take care of him. But yeah, he was still banging his ex-wife that destroyed his life, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, maybe he plated her, and he was like, sure, why not? Free sex, why not? I could always take some free sex, right? Um, but at the same time, it's like you can't help people like that, right? They have to come to it. Sorry, most of the time, it's not about, hey, I forgot what I was gonna say. Um, you can't save them, right? Like, and then the other day, like maybe late last year, I was at my Wednesday bachata night, and there is a Salvadorian girl, Honduran girl, with these big fake boobs and like really good looking fake boobs. She's very, very cute, and she looked kind of friendly for being one of these girls that are like, fill their bodies with plastic. Um, and I walk in and I see her, and I think I've seen her before. And I'm like, and she knew how to look, she knew how to market her body. I'm like, wow, very, very interesting, and all that. And a guy next to me who's also regular at these bachata nights was like drooling over this girl, and I'm like, I'm like, try to distract him so it doesn't look as obvious. And he's like, he looks at me, he's like, hey, you know what hypergamy is? And I'm like, holy shit, wow. Uh, and I said, I kind of like acted like I didn't hear him because the music was loud. And then as soon as he said that, I'm just like, I'm gonna go ask this girl to dance. And we danced, and she had a good time, and we talked. I never asked her out or anything, but yeah, I just realized like this is what guys like me that get this stuff have to deal with, is people um observing different people's on their journey, and then you realizing like, hey, you really can't help these people. They have to help themselves. It's not until they have nothing left, like their lives are completely gutted, right? Or they just haven't had sex in so long. Then they start asking the right questions. Then they start asking, what really is hypergamy? Why did my wife marry me? I thought they only like bad boys. And then they look up, they read the real definition of hypergamy, and they're like, oh, I just needed to like tease her more and be more of a dick sometimes and tell her no and get jacked and all that stuff instead of giving her stuff. Oh, that's what hypergamy is. Got it. Um, but it isn't until their lives are completely gutted, and that's the sad part, right? Like very few guys who are getting laid they're gonna look at this red pill stuff like, oh, this is stupid. But these guys are a bunch of spurged or black pill. They're gonna give it the negative connotation, right? But guys that have nothing left, where their life's completely in shambles, or at least their sex life, right? Then they're gonna be like, you know what? Let's see what these red pills guys have to say, and then they get hooked on it and all that stuff. So maybe this $5 super chat by Alex. You get one of these, sir.
Thank you so much, best friend.
Alex Patino for the $5. Oppressing women. Seriously, does anyone have any energy to even bother thinking of how to bring oppression upon women? I'm too busy to care about that. Exactly. Like you got better things to do. Like women's issues are their own problem, right? I'm sure there's somebody somewhere in life that is like obsessed with solving this whatever problem women have, and let them complain, right? A complaining woman is a happy woman, right? when women complain a lot, they're just happy, right? 'Cause like I always said, pay attention to what women complain about, right? Are they complaining about um like not like Starbucks not having the right amount of not having the drink they want, or are they complaining about, hey, I don't have food to eat, right? Look at what women complain about online. Go on Twitter right now and look at what are women bitching about. And it's literally the dumbest things. And that's a sign of complete like contentment. Like they have nothing to worry about for their survival. And that's how you can tell, right? If you look at what women complain about in third world countries, like, hey, am I going to die tonight? There's a war, or am I gonna get, my sister died from this illness. I hope I don't die from this. Whereas here, women are like, hey, you know, I got bacterial vaginosis from fucking several dudes. Now I have to go stop having sex and cancel my plans this weekend because I feel sick and my vagina is discharging. That's not a terrible thing to complain about. That sounds like a blessing in disguise, right? Because I have family members that died from STDs, and you know, it's hard to take women seriously when their complaints are that they can't stop doing certain things, or they have to stop doing certain things for a little bit, right? But anyways, I digress. Back to the topic. By the way, guys, we have 1,400 people on watching on X and 39 on YouTube and 1 on Twitch. So thank you for all your support. I don't know if it translates to Twitter. Hold on, guys. Let's see. Thank you for flex this on Twitter. All right. There we go. Okay, yeah, it does. All right. All right, cool. So, um, so yeah, you realize that they're not your problem and it's not your job to save them because you saved yourself. Yeah, you're done. You're done. Um, Thanks, Alex, for the super chat. You're done trying to save people. You got better things to do. If they wanna be simps, if they wanna not make themselves their own point of origin, if they wanna complain about women, if they wanna stay stuck in their development, then let them. Don't care. Not my problem. And you're gonna realize that most of the stuff that you were told is your problem as you go through this list and you go down and you develop more and you become a more complete version of yourself, you're gonna realize, wait, a lot of this stuff is not my problem. Why am I'm never worried about women's body count. Why is that? Well, I can never tell, and she has to deal with the consequences, right? Even if I date her for a while, if I find out she did something crazy, I'll dump her, and she has to be single, and I get delivered to a world full of hot women with maybe less body count that I can consider for a relationship, or extremely high body count, which I can consider for a blowjob. You know, like literally, it's a win-win situation. But guys are just like, no, I have to be mad. Being mad is better. It's more fun. But anyways, all right. So you guys ready for the final one on the list? Let's move on. Um, hey, what's up, man? All right. Okay, so number 12, guys. You leave the space and live your life. With the exception if this is your job, right? So if you make content, great, but you leave the space for good. Meaning you got everything you wanted. You're starting to look at all these red pill debates and posts as silly. Right? Like, why is everyone fighting over this? Like, what's the point? What is this? What do I get out of this? Right? Because you've asked yourself what you get out of women, your family, your friends, your career. Hell, even your dog, everyone, everything, you start asking yourself, what do I get out of this? Is this making me am I getting something out of this, right? You've put yourself first, right? Which is one of the hardest things guys do is they hate putting themselves first. So you're just like, wait, I've already internalized everything. My life's fixed. I know what to do, what not to do. And if I ever need something, I'll be back. But what am I doing here? What am I doing here? What is the point of me tweeting? What is the point of me commenting and posting? What is the point of me watching 3 hour, 2 hour podcasts? I could be playing with my kids, or I could be lifting weights, or I could just be playing video games, right? And that's the point where a lot of guys eventually leave. They're like, okay, I have nothing. There's no reason. There's literally no reason to be here, right? Now there's guys that stay because like they've met friends, or they've met a lot of cool people that like their insight, and a lot of them have things to add and like they have their own experiences. But for the most part, right, if you're a guy that, isn't too excited to make friends, you already got your life and you move on, you got your business, whatever you have. You're like, okay, cool, I got it. I understood. Life's fixed for the time being. I'm happy. Sex life is great, whether I'm single or married or in between. What do I get out of this? No, then leave. Right? And that's ultimately the goal, right? It's like leaving humanity behind and going for greener pastures, right? Like when Gandalf and Frodo left the Shire, right? Um, you're moving on forever. There's nothing left for you here, right? That's a beautiful part of your life, right? Because uh, it was a painful journey. Most guys don't just take the red pill and they're just like, I get it now. No, it's painful. It's lots of tears, lots of self-doubt, lots of frustration, lots of doubting yourself, lots of like looking at yourself and thinking, wow, I really am a loser, right? Lots of thinking you're awesome and the next day thinking you're a piece of shit. It isn't easy, right? It takes a lot of work and effort and pain and mistakes and near misses. But here you are, you've learned how to forgive yourself for the mistakes you made, for who you were before you knew what the red pill was. Um, you've learned to avoid the bigger pitfalls. You finally stopped blaming women for your problems. Um, you've become assertive in your relationships. You're not afraid to tell people what you want. You've gotten rid of all your covert contracts. Uh, you don't say things red pill maxim while gritting your teeth. You say them like nonchalantly, like, yeah, of course she's not mine. She's a person. She can leave whenever she wants. Matter of fact, if she leaves, I'll just get another girl. I love her, but what am I gonna do, right? Sit on here and cry for years? No. Um, Everything just comes into place. You find this deep peace. There's this void that a lot of guys have where it's always they've either hated women or loved them too much. Both of them are pedestalizing, excuse me, women to a certain extent, right? And when you do neither, you just start seeing women as who they are, which is human beings that are incentivized to do certain things because of the environment and laws and societal expectations and all that stuff. And you move on, you're just like, wow, there's a void here. I felt very extreme about women, and now I don't. So how does this even happen? What do I do now? I feel a void, right? And then you fill that void with something else, like, hey, um, I no longer care about what women think about me who I'm not fucking. So I'm gonna go do whatever I want. Hey, I used to think that if I watch anime, that it was childish, but really no one cares that what I do with my free time. So I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna enjoy it because it's what I've always wanted to do. My life's already in order. I have the job. I have the muscles. I have the women. Like, what else do I need to prove to anyone, right? Um, and here's another cool thing. If you ever need to come back, you don't need to go through that whole fucking list again. Let's say I get married one day and I'm like, oh shit, let me go. Instead of watching years of podcasts and reading lots of books, I could just go to the Married Red Pill. Or I could talk to one of the Married Red Pill guys that I literally work with sometimes online, or who I have access to that would actually respond to my question. And they'd be like, hey, dumbass, you did this mistake. Don't be stupid. Own your shit, blah, blah, blah. I'd be like, oh, thanks, cool. And then it wouldn't be like I'm a new, like somebody that doesn't understand what I'm walking into. It'd be like, yeah, I'm an idiot. And it'd be, okay, thanks. I'm going to apply this. And that's it. Right. In the nuclear navy, yes, you have to have a lot of base knowledge about the plant, nuclear physics, how to combat emergencies, um, how electricity works, how steam works, transfer of energy, fluid flow, all these things, right? You work in a nuclear plant, you have to have really good knowledge. But one of the most important skills they teach you is not how to memorize things, right? It is where to find the right information the fastest way possible, right? So if you're a guy that just wants to play the field and wants to learn game, go to Troy Francis, right? He's been doing it. He's one of the best at it. He's the kind of guy that can teach you in a non-cringe way how to game women, right? And you don't have to like search for months or even years for the right. You already know these people. You've watched all their stuff. Now you left the red pill. Hey, I'm single again. Things didn't work out with that girl. I need to like up my game or see what's going on in the streets. Let me buy some of Troy's stuff. Narrated by Jack, of course. Uh, yeah, and that's it. 1 hour. You read his guide. 1 hour. You're gonna go find something. You're gonna look stupid for a couple days, and then you realize, oh shit, and then boom, that's it. You've learned where to find the information you need to get the fuck out, right? And that's what we're taught in nuclear navy is like, hey, it's not about memorizing everything. It's about knowing where the information is, going to find it as soon as possible, using it intelligently, and then throwing the book behind you and taking action. Same thing with the red pill, right? Hey, I am getting everything I want with women, but you know, my girl is asking me to have unprotected sex, right? And then you're like, okay, well, where do I, you know, or she's asking me to move in or whatever your girl's asking you, right? Let's say she's asking you to move in. And you're like, oh yeah, Rolo had an essay about that. And then you go to Rolo's blog or something and you write, okay, cool, boom, 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 boom. Hey, sex is falling off. I need to apply dread, but like let me reread Ryan's book on dread, and maybe I missed something, or maybe I can get reminded of something, right? And so on and so forth, right? You don't need to watch 6 months of podcasts to like figure out your problem. You know exactly who has the information. You know exactly where to look, and you don't have to waste time, right? And that's the beauty of it, right? This is a skill, and the skill is always going to be looking inward and solving your problems and knowing where to find the answers. And that's the beauty of it. Once you get to 12, you don't even care if like you need help. You're like, oh yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm a human being. I fuck up and I forget things. What am I doing wrong in this situation, right? And then, or you make a mistake. You're like, hey, I banged the girl I shouldn't have banged. Time to you own up to it. You don't have to go through the whole I'm a victim and then figure women out. You're just like, oh yeah, that was pretty stupid of me. You laugh it off with your friends. You admit to people like, hey, yeah, that was a dumb move. What can I say? You laugh at it. You don't take yourself so seriously, and you move on. And that's it. No need to go through the whole fucking list again. Like you're already at 12. You are a 12 guy. You have moved on. And that's ultimately the goal for every guy. And most guys won't make it. Maybe 5% of the guys that ever find the red pill will make it to that point. Most get stuck at 4. Some get stuck at 10, and want to like save the West and save all save everyone and get all guys on board, and then they become, they want to become a savior for all men, and that they have the answers to all the mysteries of the universe. And it's just like, no, dude, you don't have the answers. You don't know me. You don't even know what I want. Maybe I don't want to bang 50 chicks. Maybe I want to bang 3. Maybe I don't want to bang just 50. Maybe I want to bang 100. So yeah. Um choice is yours. You get to decide where to stop. You get to decide to keep developing. All I'm going to say is at 12, it's in a very intimidating step, right? Because a lot of guys feel that the red pill, if they don't consume this stuff constantly in large quantities, that they'll lose their edge, that women are going to somehow either going to miss something. And like, no, that's male neuroticism, right? Remember, women are not out to get you. They're just incentivized, right? And they have incentives, they have a biology they have to deal with just like you do. When you see a girl with a nice pair of tits or nice thighs or, looks good, you're going to have a reaction that you almost can't control, right? Like you're going to get turned on or aroused, like, wow, that chick is hot, right? And when she talks to you, you're going to be a little bit nervous, right? And the more game you have and the more experience, that nervousness it's smaller, right? But you're going to be a little bit nervous, right? Just like when a Lamborghini parks up next to her, she's going to feel a little bit like, ooh, who's in there, right? And that they can't control that, right? So all in all, forgiving yourself is always going to be the first step. And number 12, the last step is always going to be forgiving yourself constantly. Like, hey, I made this mistake or I forgot this, whatever. I'll come back when I need it and then I'll move on. I got everything I need. Everything's fixed. So yeah, guys, that's all I have. It's getting kind of late, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Record number of viewers again, 1,834. So yeah, I appreciate you guys' support. Let me show you guys the list. That's the least I can do. Let me make sure all the chats are closed. Okay. All right. So here's the list, guys. If you want to see, if you guys want to screenshot it or go to a guy Buy and Ties' page, and all that stuff. But yeah, and you figure out, where am I? Am I trying to save guys that I can't save? Am I still mad at women? Am I spurging out, writing paragraphs to old hags on internet? Did I just find this stuff and I suck at life with women? Sorry, suck at life and women, right? Do I am I just a guy who used to consume red pill content, fixed his life, and now I'm back because I'm bored? And maybe you're 12. You don't know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Where are you? I know where I'm at. I believe I'm 12, but I struggle with 11 a lot. Here's the ones I struggled with, right? 2, I was mad at a lot of people because I suck, and I wish someone would understand. I didn't do a lot of spurging, right? Because I've always had some girl interested in me, right? So number 4, I did a little spurging, but when the Red Meat podcast started coming out, I just thought it was more entertaining than it was informative, right? I read the sidebar. I failed a lot. I thought I had it. 2021, I thought I knew I thought I knew it. And then, you keep going through the list. And then number 9 didn't really struggle that much because I'm really hard on myself. I think number 9, I stayed stuck there because I'm like, there's got to be something I can do to be better, right? Women don't think I'm awesome enough. And then I realized, no, that's not it. 11, I got stuck a lot because I wanted to save other guys. 10, I got super stuck because I wanted to bring my friends and family into the Valhalla of the red pill, but I couldn't. It's every man is has to figure this out for themselves. we're not in this together as much as people want to say they are. We're not. Right. So yeah, guys, go follow this guy buying ties. He seems pretty cool. I don't know if he's the one that put together this list. I'm gonna assume so. So, you know, and if any of you guys know, let him know that I use this stuff. I may already asked permission, but all right. So guys, great show. Hopefully this kind of put things in perspective. I wanted to make it shorter, but you know, I blabbed on too long. New Substack is out. Grab the Substack. It's I released it this morning, I believe, or last night. Last night or this morning, forgot. I'll try to write another one tomorrow. I'm just exhausted for the night. And you know, I just hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube, so thank you guys. I couldn't have done it without you guys putting up with me and my rants. So, you know, took me about a year and a half to get here, so not bad. I wish it could be faster, but you know, in due time, guys, in due time. If you prefer Patreon, Patreon is the same as Substack, same articles, but you know, maybe you prefer that format as well. And if you guys want to get into contact with me, just email me. I check my email like 3 times a week. My content email. Yeah, and you know, Twitter's always gonna be fun and exciting. You know, I'm always gonna make it interesting, right? But the real work happens with you guys, right? Like I can tweet all these platitudes and all these observations and fun tweets, right? But deep down, you know, those come from somewhere. They come from a lot of a very painful experience that I went through, or you know, a lot of work that I put in to understand women on my own terms, rather than have the internet explain it to me for me, right? So appreciate you guys' time and support throughout the months. And as long as you guys are listening, I'll keep putting out content. If you guys have any suggestions for content or things I could do, DM me on Twitter or email me, and you know, maybe it'll spark my creativity and all that stuff, right? I'm here for you guys. You guys are the ones to decide. And I know at some point, maybe my channel's going to get so big that I'm not going to be able to listen to my followers as much, because the more followers you get, the more spur it gets in here. Am I right, guys? But for the most part, yeah, I'm open to suggestion and all that stuff. So I've been putting out a lot more content. I'm very busy right now. By mid to late October, I should be less busy and able to create and put more stuff in, right? And yeah, guys, who knows? Maybe I'm here for the long haul and I'll be here for a couple more years and get what I need and leave, you know? So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time and I got to get out of here. So, you guys have a good night.